Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I want to talk about two panels that were shown off at CitizenCon 2952. The design brief, where they looked at a deep investigation mission that they were sort of planning and tools to make more investigation missions in the future, and the new underground. So this looked at underground facilities and some of the cool new assets and sort of concepts and plans that they have for them. So let's jump into the design brief. Cloud Imperium want to build deep investigation missions, and they've talked about, how should we do this? We want to have these sort of investigation missions and tools to build them reusable and interesting, and for players to be able to do these missions again and again and again. Now, they had a couple of pitches, they had a couple of ideas. Do they go for a definitive answer type mission where they go, well, you have a mission to find this guy. You can go to where he lived, and then you can read all his journal entries, or you can look at his itinerary, and maybe you notice on his itinerary that he's checked off a load of work that he's done, and the last thing on his itinerary hasn't been checked off. So you can go, oh, he's probably at this location on his itinerary because he hasn't checked it off. Bam. So you can go there, you can search around for him. Maybe you find some other notes, maybe you see wires and damaged areas, and you'll be like, oh, some of this is repaired, some of this is not. You could follow the sort of repairs that have been made, and you come to an area, and you find him, and he's knocked out, or he's dead because he's been electrocuted in one of these areas that he's been repairing. Bam! Definitive answer, there's an ending. Boom. They also had an idea for a different type of sort of investigation mission, a more open-ended one, where there's no confirmed answer. Well, there might be, but it doesn't have to be. So you can sort of choose when you're done. So you'd go to an area, you'd do a load of research, potentially in the similar way. You'd look around. Obviously, we've got the Darnell mission. We've got the Gundo Kovalex hub mission, where you go there and you investigate, and you'd have a look around, you'd find a load of cool stuff, you'd find a load of information, and maybe you find enough information that you go, I reckon it's this, and you sort of choose one of these options to say, I think it's this happened, this guy killed everyone, or he was drunk or whatever, and that caused the facility to explode. Bam. Okay, you got your answer, you get paid. But you could stay there for longer and find more clues and find indisputable proof. Or maybe you find lots of other little things and lots of secrets and maybe some loot. Maybe there's a few other things going on here. Maybe there's some codes that you can find for safes and for boxes. But you'd get a bonus because you had found the more correct answer, or you spent some more time there. That might not always be the case. But if they build these missions in a modular fashion with tools that allow for these missions to be created, great. Then you can have loads and loads and loads and loads of these in the future. The key thing here is that these missions need to be scalable. So they've built a scalable prototype that can be used for multiple mysteries. You'll be able to gather info in the same way that we can already by sort of searching bodies and sort of looking at log entries and things like that. But there's going to be a load of new ways you can gather information in the future, from scanning to using a medgun to work out cause of death, for also looking at other sort of characters' Moby glasses in their inventories, so you can search and figure out stuff yourself. Really excited to see those type of missions in game. There was also another panel, the new underground. The old and sort of original underground facilities were never totally finished to spec. They wanted something larger and more modular. So when they're building out these new areas and to work out what they wanted from the underground facilities, they broke the sort of place down into zones. So zone 1 is the sort of presence on the landscape, what it looks when you first arrive, how it looks from as you're coming down from orbit, how it looks on the horizon. They showed a concept for a corporate facility where you'd be able to land close to or on the facility. You'd be able to see what the facility is used for. So if it's mining or excavating, there'll be equipment around that area, or storage facilities, whatever. You can enter that facility on the ground floor potentially, and yeah, it might have a grand entrance, there might be workers moving around, there might be some sort of offices and stuff like that there, but we're not interested really in that because it's underground facilities we're talking about. So zone 2 is the sort of logistics of transit from that ground floor, or from that sort of external area, to the internals, to getting basically you get in a big elevator and that will take you down into the facility. So these elevators themselves and the sort of rooms they're housed in could be massive, and in this case they show off for a utilitarian one. You could potentially even have a vehicle or a huge amount of cargo on these giant elevators, and then as you move deeper into the facility, there's going to be more crossroading and sort of signposting, choosing which area you want to go, because these could be huge underground networks, these facilities. Zone 3, that's sort of more the industrial workspaces of these sort of facilities. So they're totally industrial areas. Maybe there's like mighty train lines or roads, these huge logistical networks that allow you to move from one area to another. Maybe they're sort of some of these parts of the facility. So this has me quite excited because it looks like Cloud Imperium intend that we can traverse these areas ourselves in ground vehicles, and maybe we're able to take them down in the elevators. So that'll be pretty cool. There are maybe opportunities for cargo missions here and theft, or maybe utilizing the facility's sort of specialist abilities. Like if it's a mining facility, maybe you can refine there or whatever. One of the things they want to do is make sure corridors and connecting areas aren't boring, and they need to make sense. They should work well for traversal and FPS combat. There will be multiple levels around some of these areas. Underneath there may be like FPS corridors as well, so underneath the like big road networks, there might be FPS corridors for workers. It sort of like has a sub-deck and engineering feel. There are massive bulkheads separating various areas almost as checkpoints. They don't want players to get bored in these areas. This is one of the main things. Players traveling between these areas, they don't want to get bored. They also want key themed rooms, so sort of areas that draw attention, or maybe this is like the main part of what the facility does. If it's a processing facility, maybe there's like a big control area, or you can see where like a big mining operation's going on. And just like everywhere else, they want a lot of verticality here for the underground facilities and these sort of key rooms. They want a lot of interactivity. Maybe there's puzzles to solve. Maybe there's ways you can move equipment to get up to places. Maybe you can refine materials here. They showed a map and control room. There are going to be like executive wings potentially that you might be able to get access to and steal corporate secrets or loot them, or it's going to be a very different look to the rest of like the industrial area. There's data areas maybe where you could have like lots of servers submerged in liquids. Zone 4 blends this sort of underground, those facilities, with organics and caves and like the planet itself. So excavation equipment and under construction areas give way to rock and mines. You might see giant drills and miners that maybe you could use for missions and puzzles again. They might start showing off sort of like liquids and broken areas and flora sort of taking over the facility again. Maybe you've enraged some angry creatures by being there. I just really like the idea that there's a lot going on, and they sort of then blend those facilities into the more sort of cave and rock areas. And these areas look absolutely massive, like nothing we've seen in Star Citizen before. To be honest, this is the most original Half-Life type vibe I've had off a game in a while since Half-Life. Just those underground facility areas, all those zones sort of remind me of moving around Half-Life in a tram. But I'm interested to know what you think. Are you excited for the underground facilities they're building? It's obviously going to be a while before they're in-game, but it should be pretty modular. What about investigation missions? Do you like the idea of them making a tool set for investigation missions that then allows for these quite deep investigation missions where you can go off and do lots and lots and lots of investigating and sort of finish when you want and go, oh yeah, I'm finished enough, bam, just put my answer in, or well actually let me see if there's any, try and work out what happened and get a bonus. Maybe there's some cool little other bonuses and things there. What did you think of those two panels? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. NordCon 2952, the road to Nord 4.0. What do you want out of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer? Nord base building? Nord hunting 2.0? A dynamic Nordonomy? I'm personally looking forward to the latest Nord cruiser. In the meantime, I'm going to make do with NordVPN protecting my data from insidious space pirates and giving me unrivaled access to all the content that the internet has to offer. Use the links below. Note, NordCon 2952 does not actually exist. Also adding to my shill pile, Tobii Eye Tracker 5 gives you precise head tracking and control with your eyes. That's the sound of my eyes controlling the lasers, giving you unprecedented immersion in Star Citizen. You can basically aim lasers with your eyes. Pew pew! Use the links below and code BoredGamer for discount. Every month we have a ship giveaway for Star Citizen. For October, we're giving away a Cutlass Black with pirate skin, lifetime insurance, and Star Citizen game package. All you need to jump into the game. Just comment on any of my videos made during October to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider becoming a channel member with the join button below my videos, or potentially becoming a Patreon. You'll get access to some exclusive content, and it really helps the channel out. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and have a great October.